Hey, Rocky here with the Kansas National Guard Museum moment for this week. Standing here in the shade where it's somewhat cool compared to standing in the sun. But I got a story for you today about trucks. We're going to talk today about the M35 and the M135 and a little bit about the Deuce-and-a-half from World War II, called the Deuce-and-a-half or the Jimmy. And we'll see what we can find out about that. Well, first of all, these are the trucks we're talking about today. The one on the left is the M135. The one on the right is the M35. And you'll think, well, what's the difference? Well, I'll tell you. But first of all, these evolved during World War II. General Eisenhower said one of the 6 most important vehicles of World War II was the Jimmy Deuce-and-a-half, called the CCKW. And I'm going to digress over here a little bit to show you another one that we have here. And you'll think, well, that doesn't look at all like those other ones, but stick with me. This is a duck right back here. That's a duck, which is known as a DUKW. Now, not to confuse you much, that's a super duck, so it's not really a DUKW, but ducks were originally called DUKWs. The first designation, C or D, was for the year, so our CCKW trucks are C for 1941, and C for the body style of the truck, which was a cargo truck, and then K and W designated 6-wheel drive and dual axle. The duck is the same thing. It was made in 1942, so it's a D instead of a C, and the U indicates an amphibious truck. So it's the DUKW. If it had been made in 1943, it'd be an EUKW, and well, they didn't make any in 1944, and that's probably good. But these two trucks here are descendants of the famous one of World War II, the famous Red Ball Express you've heard about, that supplied Patton from the coast in to keep his tanks going. He also said it was one of the vehicles that that won the war. So let's look around at the front, though. The backs look pretty similar, but one thing you'll notice here on the 135, it has single tires. The 35 has dual tires on the back, smaller dual ones. And what happened was that the request was sent out for trucks. The there were several designs requested, but the one that won was this one here, the M35, made by Rio. Just a side note, Rio stands for Robert E. Olds, who would later be part of Oldsmobile. But Rio was its own company at the time. And so this one here was designed. It was chosen because of its power, its simplicity, and then the 135 was chosen as the first substitute in the United States. It actually became the standard in Canada. But you can see the difference. This one here looks more styled, sweet. This one here has a automatic transmission in it. And this one over here is your basic simple truck. Axles that can be applied, different power applied to each axle, differential, manual transmission. Even some later models had a multi-fuel engine. The engine would take kerosene, diesel, gas, and even aircraft fuel. So it was handy. You just find something you could pour in it and you can make it run. Had to add a little oil to the gasoline because it's to make it run as a diesel. But nonetheless, it was pretty useful in all ways. You can see in the back, the seats fold down to set on. It would have had a canvas top on the back, but a basic truck, loved. And these were used all the way up into the 90s in Korea, Vietnam, and even with guard units like the one here in Kansas for many years. The 135s, you can see, is a little more stylish, rounded hood, single wheels or single tires and wheels on it, although it does have dual axles. And this one even came with a later version where it could be pull started by some device that hooked to one of the axles that must have, and I'm not an expert, but must have bypassed the transmission because it was an automatic to be able to start the motor when it was pull started. But these are really cool trucks. That's probably more than you want to know about trucks. As you can see, both of them had winches on the front, so they were powerful, useful. They could be used for cargo. They could be used for transporting equipment, people. They could have machine guns mounted in the back, much like our quad mount could be mounted in the back and become offensive weapons. And they're just useful for a lot of things, and they went anywhere. And I hear they got about 11 miles a gallon. So there you go on the highway. Anyway, great vehicles. We got more to talk about next week, but hope you come out and see the M35 and the M135 and enjoy the day out here. We've had a lot of folks out here, and we hope you come out and see us too, because we're open Monday through Saturday, free of charge, and this is where heroes live.